Today is the third part of our Wars Under Naval realistic guide, How to Shoot. This is the one of most non-intuitive part of Wars Under Naval, and also where most newcomers frustrate and give up playing Naval. So today's guide would be not the perfect guide, but essential guide of how to lead the range on the long, medium, and close range combat. In naval combat, you aren't shooting at where enemy is, but where they will be. Because most players are aggressively closing the distance to get into a better firing position, the enemy ship is almost always moving towards you. If you shoot at the exact distance the rangefinder shows, by the time your shells travel through the air, the enemy has already moved forward. That's why we need to manually adjust our distance or offset downwards. Let's break this down into 3 easy to remember zones. First, let's talk about long-range engagements, 10 kilometers or more. At this distance, even battleship's shells, which is specialized at flying long distance, might take 10 or 15 seconds to arrive. In this range, subtract 400 meters. If the rangefinder says 12 kilometers, scroll that mouse wheel down to 11.6 kilometers. It might feel like you're aiming short, but trust the physics. Those shells will land right on their hull. Next is the most common combat zone, 5 to 10 kilometers. This is where most brawl happened. In this case, subtract 200 meters. At this distance, the travel time is moderate. A 200 meter reduction is the sweet spot that accounts the enemy's forward momentum while keeping your shots consistent. Finally, when things get intense and you're under 5 kilometers, while standard combat range for destroyers, this is the range where everything happens much faster. Subtract only 100 meters in these ranges. Your shells have a flatter trajectory and higher velocity here, so you don't need a massive lead. Just a slight 100 meter nudge is enough to ensure you're hitting the waterline rather than the superstructure. Let's recap. Over 10 km, minus 400. 5 to 10 km, minus 200. Under 5 km, minus 100. Of course, this is the very basic formula. All guns have different characteristics, so you have to include those characteristics in order to make devastating strike. For instance, South Dakota's gun has extremely slow shell velocity, so have to subtract 100 meters more. On the other hand, Soyuz has very flat trajectory, so have to plus 100 meters more from those rules. However, that calculation should be done after you make first shots with theory, unless you perfectly master your ship's trajectory. So, remember the formula, apply it on the battle, and continue to revise. Then, you'll soon find the perfect formula for your ship soon.